Hi everyone, Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench, as you already knew. So today is Saturday, 12th of August 2023. It's just about 2 o'clock and it's raining. Yeah, lovely. We had the summer. That was Thursday. So yesterday I did a review on this, as you saw, and a lot of you have loved it. This is the Mark 1 design, KA models, full upgrade set, the big, they call it DX set for the USS Enterprise in 1/200 scale, and full review of that done yesterday. If you want to go have a look at that, go and see. The postman's been again this morning. He's brought something else. If you remember, a while ago I did a review of this, and this is the Pontos set for the 1/200th Yamato from Trumpeter, but it's gallery models, glow 2B or monochrome, something to do with China, Japan, whatever. But anyway, if you remember, when I did this, I got it. You had to get it through Kingnam, whatever his name was, I can't remember now. And you had to send the money via PayPal to a guy in China, and it came from Korea, beautifully packaged and everything, as it always does from Pontos. And that was that. And everybody said it's a bit basic. And I kind of looked at it and thought, well, there's not a lot in there compared to other Pontos sets. So either, there's one of three things. Either this has been rushed out, it's been made to a price to keep the price down to a certain level, or the kit is that good, you don't need that much upgrades. As we all know, when you get stuff like the Border Models Lancaster, the detail in that is absolutely astounding. You can't really add a lot to it. Whereas with the Hong Kong Models Lancaster, the cockpit is very, very basic, and you can add loads of aftermarket to it. So, you know, there you go. That's the way it works. You know, if you take an old Hasegawa Spitfire Mark 10 or Mark 9, should I say, there's loads and loads and loads you can do to it. But if you take a Tamiya 1/32 scale Spitfire Mark 9, there's not much you can add. So, you know, it's either one of those things. It's very weird that there's hardly any photo etch in this set for the superstructure, and it's a very small box for Pontos, as we know, and it's quite light in comparison to their sets, but it's all there and it's all very, very nice. What's in there is very, very nice, and there's stuff in here that I think is a must-have, like the plates on the barbettes are in here, which are missing in the kit. The photo etch catapults, I think they're a must. You know, really, really nice parts in here that replace the plastic parts in the kit. So, like I say, it's one of those things. It's either made to a price, it's made to a size, or the kit is that good it doesn't need it. But if you look at this, we've got the contents. We've got one wooden deck. We've got 500 CNC produced parts. That's a lot for any set. That's a lot. Photo etch parts, we've got 8 sheets. We've got 16 resin parts, and you've got 1 dry transfer sheet. And the one thing they've forgot to mention on here, you've actually got the brass propeller screws or whatever as well. So, all in all, it's a lovely set, and I'm going to build that kit one day. I've got 2 of them. I've got 2 of them. If anyone wants to buy one, let me know. But I've got 2 of these, 2 of the Yamatos, and I must build one because I want to use that set because it's lovely. The decks and everything in there, the steel deck for the flight deck. Oh, it's beautiful. So, as we say, you got that one there with all those parts in. Well, this morning the postman brought me this, and this is probably the biggest Pontos set money can buy. Not the biggest as in size, the biggest as in number of parts and frets and everything. It is astounding. And once again, I'll put his link down below. You can blame Norwegian Modelling Bench for this. Kenneth, you are a bad man. You've made me do this. You forced me into this. If you're watching this, Kenneth. So basically in here, we have a stained wooden deck, which is the same as this one. Okay, it's not the same deck, but it's a wooden deck. We have 260 scribed brass parts, so only half of what we've got in this one as far as term brass goes. But then this is a battleship, so it's got a lot more guns. I guess that's where it all comes from. Mind you, the Enterprise ain't short of a few guns. Photo etching, there's only 32 sheets in this one. 32 sheets, is that all? It's like a basic starter set, isn't it? I mean, this one, after all, has got 8. The resin parts, there's 70 plus 30 parts. This one has a 16. So there's 100 in here, and there's 16 in here. The masking sheet, you've got one set of masks for the deck to paint all the markings on the deck, which is beautifully laid out in the instructions. I've got the instructions for this set downloaded. You can go to Pontos, pontosmodel.com, go there, you can download the instructions page by page in PDF, so you can blow them up and everything, have them on your tablet next to your table, whatever. Much better than having the great big sheets to deal with. Masking sheet one set, aircraft decals, 2 sheets of aircraft decals. When you see them, you've got enough for a full complement. Drive transfer is 1 sheet, that's for all your, yeah, what are they called? I can't remember called now. The depth marking, plimsoll is it? I don't know. And also you've got in there, I've noticed from Kenneth's review, you've got Enterprise, Yorktown and Hornet on the sheet. So obviously if you do some messing around and play with your guns a bit, you could probably make this set work for any of those 3 ships. And then screws, we've got 4 pieces. So there it is there. I've just put it on the scales, it's 1.5 kilos. It's massive. It's a huge, huge set, and there's a lot more in here than there is in the KA set. Having said that, there's stuff in here that isn't in there. So I can see now where everybody gets both. So Kenneth, you've cost me a lot of money, and I'll probably never live long enough to build any of it. There we go. Let's get down to the bench and have a look. Okay, so size-wise, this is basically the same size. In fact, the KA is a little bit bigger. It's a little bit, you can see the box is a little bit wider. But I would say the KA one is slightly lighter. There's still a lot there. I'd say there's a good 2.5 kilos you can add to your model in these 2 boxes. But yeah, well worth having both, I think, if you can afford it. So let's have a look in here and see what we've got. So we have our usual Pontos foam, which is always comes in handy for future use. Let's push this box over here out of the way. I've got our instructions, which are all rolled up. Best to unroll them and get them underneath something flat so they stay flat when you need them. We've got bags of resin parts, screws. Looks like it's all cast resin parts in here. Screws, we've got some brass parts in there, turn brass. So we'll look at those in a minute. We've got a box here, which is crammed full of photo etch panels. So that's good. And then here we've got one big bag, and just the same as Kenneth, I've got the problem. The end of the masking sheet was rolled up against the edge of the box, and it just lifted the corner of the mask. It's not a problem because it's only the areas where you've got these little cutouts in there. But basically not really too worried about that, but I've just put a piece of Tamiya tape over the end to stop it rolling over and sticking to stuff again. So here we've got our decking, and you can see from that straight away, like I said yesterday about the size of the deck planks on the KA set compared to this one. I mean, this one, the individual planks are, let's get some light on the subject. The individual planks are, have a look, they are, let's measure it off the side just in case I damage it or dent it or anything. They're less than a mil. They're about 0.8, I think. I'd say they're about 0.8. So 0.8 times 2 is 1.6, so that's 160 millimeters, which is about 6 inches. So there we go. They would have been about 6-inch planks. And you can see that when you look at pictures and you've got guys stood on the deck. You know, you got your average shoe is probably about 8 inches long, and if they're stood sideways, it goes over the plank. So there we go. So mind you, some of those American guys, I've been to America and seen some of the size of some of the sneakers you get in the sports stores. Jeez, they're huge. So I can't get this back in here now. Go stiff. Oh, right, leave it out there. So let's get all this out of here and have a look. See what we've got. So we've got our lovely wooden deck. So we've got all these different wooden sheets here, which are beautifully printed and knowing Pontos, beautifully cut. Let's get that bag lay flat in there. And there's some more here. Very, very nice indeed. It looks like they've actually got the tie downs here printed in the wood. So when you paint the deck, it's going to look fine, unless you actually take them out and put strips in. I'm not sure, but I'd rather that than have them too wide, which is what the KA set's got. But it looks like, yeah, it looks like they're printed in there. How close will the camera focus? You can see here, this line here is quite pronounced. It looks like they've got the tie downs printed in the wood, so when it's painted and stained and everything, it's not going to notice. But the trouble is, if you go in for a teak deck, you will want them to be coloured, so I don't know how you're going to go around that. Maybe there are separate strips in there, who knows, we'll see. So here we've got our photo etch, got a slight bend on the end of wet there as well, which is a bit of a shame. But we've got the photo etch here. This is going to be surrounds for the lifts, and then we've got the air brakes. They go up and stop the draft from the propellers affecting anything else. So that's all very nice indeed. Here you can see you've got the railings that you fold up, so basically as they go down, the railings, the handles come up to stop people falling in, and then as they come up, they pop down to form a flat flight deck. A flat flight deck's easy for you to say. We've got more of the same there, so it's very, very similar. Again, slight bend on the end, but it's not an issue. It's going to flatten out easy. This is one thing Pontos do need to sort out, is their internal packaging, because you often find this kind of thing where people drop the box on the end and you've got all the weight, and you know, when you look at the KA, what they've done. But basically what I will do with that, I will put that down on a very hard surface and then just lay a metal block on it and just press down, and it will go down, no problem. So at each individual part that's bent, it's so thin it will just bend. When you're trying to do the whole lot, it makes it a bit more difficult. But I'll do that. I had the same on my Yamato set. But yeah, very, very nice indeed. Lots of little bits and pieces there. I don't know what half of it is, but it's all there. And then we've got our masking sheet there. As you can see, what it is basically masking off the whole deck. You can see you've got these little cutouts in here. Put the light over the top. I don't know if you can see those little, there you go, see the little cutouts in there just for the dots on the deck. So that's all very well thought out. Oh, on the back here you've got decals, and there's 2 sheets of those, so I don't know if you want to count them, but there's enough there for a full squadron, I think. So there we go. Plenty of decals, plus the decals you get with the kit, plus any extra aircraft you buy are going to come with decals. So there we go. I'm actually thinking I might contact Kim and ask him if I can buy some extra frets, so I can buy some more aeroplanes and do them up. So the instructions there, like I said, this is 24 pages in here. 24 pages of instructions. The Yamato set is 6. So there we are. So here we've got a bag of goodies. So this is sellotape shut. So we'll get our knife and just cut the sellotape rather than rip anything. Jess is coming for a look because she can hear bubble wrap, which she absolutely loves. There we go. I don't know if you can see it. What is this, Jess? Where's the nose? There's the nose. Did you see the nose? The nose just appeared. Where are we? The nose just appeared just there, just now. So, let's get all this out of here. So that's all our brass parts in there. This is all our resin parts. So what have we got in here? Like I say, it looks like most of this is cast, not printed. Which is, for me, I prefer cast resin when it comes to painting it and stuff. Because you don't have that proper stickiness on everything. And you can see that these have probably been, these actually are printed. They're not cast, they're printed. So we can see here we've got some gun parts, I'm guessing that's mountings for guns. So they are beautifully made, all very nicely detailed and everything. And then here we've got more of the same. So there's 2 lots of those. So I'll put those over there. I'll get all this out and then I'll stop the camera, put it all away, and then we'll look at something else. So we've got here, very similar, again 3D printed. They almost look like oil wells, don't they? So you can see they're 3D printed, I'm sure they're going to be some sort of gun mount support for the guns. So they can go over there. And then here we've got some very small parts that are extremely well protected. Oh wow. I'm not exactly sure they are. They look like they might be shells or something, but they are absolutely tiny. You can see they're in this beautifully made box that keeps them protected. So they're 3D printed. But if somebody could tell me in the comments below, how do you go about painting 3D printed parts? Because I've always found that the paint doesn't stick that well. Not quite sure what these are, but I'm surprised they're not protected, but they look like beacons. So we'll soon find out when we look at the instructions. And we've got some more printed parts here. And one thing I would suggest, whenever you get one of these sets, go through, count all the parts, make sure you've got them all, because if you have got something missing, you get in touch with Kim at help@pontosmodel.com, I think is the address, like that. Really, really good. They look like gun mounts as well, or they're some kind of binocular things, but my knowledge of ships is rubbish. So I'm sorry about that, but that's very, very nice indeed. Whatever it is, we've got more of the same there, and more of the same there, so we've got 8 of those. So I'm guessing they're part of the 5-inch guns because there's 8 of them. So here we've got a bag. Here we've got another printed section. Not exactly sure what this is. We've got one of them broken off, so we can see what it is. Some kind of shield, is it? I'm not sure. But there you go, that's what it is there. As I say, we'll see when we look at the instructions. But, very nice indeed. I think the difference with this set and the KA set, you also get some internal details for the hangar deck, I think, from memory. And then here we've got some more, all sorts of resin in here. So we've got those printed parts there. They look like ducts of some sort. They're going to glue to a wall and sort of form like a funnel type thing. And then here, this could well be the Veteranus parts now, because the guns in here are done in conjunction with Veteranus. Is it Veteranus or Veteran? It's on the front. Veteran models, sorry. Veteranus is the shop, isn't it? I think these guns are done in conjunction with them. They could well be rangefinders. Here's a bridge looking type thing. You can see it's all supported in its resin mounts. Very beautifully done. We have here, this is another problem with 3D printing, so you get this bow in the parts. It doesn't matter, we've got our, whatever you call them, I can't remember what they're called now. But they go around the edge of the deck, where the ropes go through. Are they hawsers? Is that what they're called? This looks like part of a rangefinder, so maybe that goes on there or something. Maybe there's one of these missing, because there's 2 of those and 1 of these. But that looks like part of a rangefinder to me. You see that there? Very nice. As I say, I will go through this with a fine-tooth comb when I've done this review and check everything is there. So we've got clear lenses here. So we've got 2 beautifully made little clear lenses, and they're obviously going to go in those searchlights. So they are going to sit in there. And I'm not going to play with it too much because they'll fall off. But we've got some searchlights there. They're beautifully done. All the detail around the outside. Very polished inside face, which means when we spray some of this in there, some Molotov liquid chrome, it's going to look lovely. So that's all good. And then here, what have we got here? Oh, that's the mountings for the searchlights. There we go. So that's a whole bag of searchlights there. So that's the mountings there, and they're going to go on the side of the funnels. So I'm going to put these away now so I don't lose them just before we look in these other couple of bags. I would hate to lose these clear parts. There we go. And then we've got a little bag here, and this all looks like it's cast. So this is probably Veteran Models parts. Yeah, they've all got this the casting plug on. That's how you can tell the difference. You can see on here It's like a flat casting plug rather than a base with all, you know, like this with all the legs on and everything. So that's going to be something about, this is probably all 1.1 inch gun because there's only one of them. So there we go. There we are. I'm not even sure where the 1.1 inch gun goes until we look at the instructions, because I always thought it was in the little place underneath the bow deck, but it's not. There's a couple of bofors there, a couple of olicons there, sorry. So this must be up on the structure somewhere. But you can see we've got some tiny cast parts there. Bloody hell. Absolutely tiny. Ridiculously small. So very, very nice indeed. And they can all go back in this bag. He says. Easier said than done. Easier if I do it this way because I'm right-handed as a rule. There we go. Sorry guys. Sorry, just fast forward a second. There we go. Right. Sorry about that. Okay, and then next, finally, for resin parts, we have a big bag of cast resin. So we've got, what have we got here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't believe none of this is broken. It just looks amazing. And we've got 2 of those, 3 of those. Looks like they've lost those 2, so they've given us that in replacement. Yeah, this has been very well thought out. As you can see, we've got, this is something I do very much like about Pontos. They do care very much about getting you a full set. So you can see here, and what we've got 4 of those, so we should have 4 of these to go with them. There's like some sort of binoculars there, and there's some sort of aiming device there. So we've got 1, 2 complete. Oh no, we've got one little bit missing there. So we've got that one on there, so that's okay. We've got that piece missing from that one, so there's 3. Okay, and we've got that bit on there to put in there. So think of that as 4, and we've got that bit there to put in there as well. So that's 4. So all in all, we have got 4, because there's the back of one. There's that bit there of one. Yeah, so that one can go in there. Those 2 can go with that one. And as you can see, with a mix around of all the parts, we've got enough. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those binocular things there. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those. So it's very, very thoughtfully done. It's so nice. Because I can imagine, you know, me getting in touch with Kim and say, I need one of those. Can you imagine what it's going to cost him to post me that? So the care is all there. And I must say, I've got 4 or 5 Pontos sets that I've never had a part missing. So very, very good. So I'm going to get all this cleared up, and then we'll have a look at the brass parts, and then we'll start looking at some photo etch. Back in a sec. Just realised, guys, we didn't look at these bits, did we? These are the mounts. These are either for the 5-inch guns or the 40mm bofors, I can't remember now. But that is some of the nicest cast resin I've ever seen. I can't believe, like, you've got those little tiny legs sticking up. None of them are broken. It's incredible. They're all just chucked in a bag and none of them are broken. But very beautifully cast, aren't they? Very beautifully made. They must have a really good resin they use. Because I know that getting fine detail like that in a mould that deep is not easy. They probably use pressure chambers. So anyway, I'll get this cleared up and I'll be back. So one little tip for you guys: when you put these resin parts back in, make sure you've got some air in the bag, and then anything that goes on top, you can't sort of squash it because the bag is cushioning it all. So that's something worth remembering. And there's me just now saying about I've never had parts missing in a Pontos kit. Just going to check the floor. Sure enough, I said that part there, RS20, there was only one. There should be 2 of them, so I can't get one of those. Or I might even make a mould and just cast it myself, we shall see. But I want to buy some more frets for the airplanes anyway, so I'll get in touch with Kim later and ask the question. So let's have a look at these turn brass parts. I'm not going to get any of these out of the bag, obviously. I'll get them out of the big bag, but not out of the little bags. So we have a big bag of screws, propellers, whatever you want to call them. All made of brass, very, very nicely done indeed. And they need a bit of dulling down, I think. Unless you're building a museum display piece, you can have them all shiny. So here we've got some bollards and pulleys and bits and pieces in there. As you can see, lots and lots of turn brass parts. And beautifully done they are. They're always really nice, these brass parts from Pontos. We have here, that looks like torpedoes, flagstaffs. Not quite sure what that is there that's right in front of my finger, but it's obviously something or other. So yeah, very nice indeed. No doubt these torpedoes will have the fins on the back made of PE. We have, that's our main boat mast there. It goes directly behind the superstructure, or the island. And then got some other mast parts there. Beautifully done. More mast parts. You've got the ship's bell there, this time in brass. I don't know why KA made that one part in aluminium. Or aluminum, if you're on the other side of the pond. And then here we have lots and lots of little bollards and stuff. There you can see all those little different bits and pieces of brass in there. Something to keep you occupied for many an hour. And then here we've got gun barrels. So we've got our 5-inch guns, 40mm guns, and all that is in there. So beautifully done. I'm not sure how the 20mm are done in here. Maybe that's some 20mm barrels in there. So we've got 16 pieces of 40mm. We've got 8 pieces of the 5-inch. We've got 4 pieces of the 1.1, and we've got 50 pieces of the 20mm. Again, I don't understand why they've done 50 guns. I don't think at any time up until like very late in the war, I don't think she had 50 20mm. Certainly when she had 50 20mm, she didn't have any 1.1. So I don't really know. It's funny that KA give you a couple of 50 cals. Strange. So that's all them looked at. I guess next we can look at the instructions and then we can have a look at the PE. So let me get this bench sorted out. Okay, so this is going to take a while. These instructions are pretty glossy, so I'm sorry if you get any reflections and stuff at certain areas. I can't watch the screen. I can see to my left what you're seeing, but I can't watch that and look at what I'm doing at the same time. So if we do get any whited out bits, I'm sorry. I'll try and sort of move around and so you get a chance to freeze frame. But as I say, go to pontosmodel.com and you can download these instructions and have a look at them yourself. I think there's also been some corrections made, but as this is a brand new set, I'm sure these are going to be the correct instructions. I think Kenneth found some issues with the part numbering and contacted Kim and he sorted it. So, typical Pontos layout. You can see here we've got, this is all your parts list, and you've got all your resin parts here. So this is all your photo etch. This is all your turn brass parts going down off the screen down to the bottom here. And then you've got resin parts up here. These are your veteran model parts, and then these are all the Pontos parts, screws. And then straight away you're into the build. Now, just like the KA set, it's kind of a bit, you know, as I said, if you go and watch Plastic Monkey, he's building a model of the Mogami, and he's got a, I think it's a Flyhawk, a photo etch set, and the instructions and that are just, wow. Like, you need a master's degree in the design of Mogami to work them out, because it doesn't even say, I mean, at least in here it will say, you know, it'll show you here, this is going onto the island. It'll tell you that all I have is a picture of a wall and just say put the ladder there. It's crazy, crazy stuff. Go take a look at that and you'll see what I mean. This is lovely in comparison, but it's still not like your Edward set. And also it's not like your kits when you get kits with integral photo etch like a Tamiya Yamato, say. Or Yamato, it tells you actually in the instructions to use that photo etch part there. This, you've got to work it all out. You've got to be very careful. And as I say, if you want to see all this being used and you want to see it being built, go and look at Kenneth's channel, Norwegian Scale Modeler. I've linked it down below. I would seriously recommend, if you're into modelling and you're into your photo etch, at least if you look at nothing else, go and look at his, I think it's the port. Look at the port hull. okay, or the port deck structure, whatever. There's about 4 or 5 videos, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the port construction. Have a look at that. Absolutely mind-blowing, and that's what made me want this set. This is not a photo etch set, this is a mini fabricator's dream, and I love fabrication, so that's what attracted me to it. Anyway, I'm waffling. So here you can see you've got list of parts, and then here we're straight into making deck hatches. So, and you can see here we've got excuse me, we've got symbols here that shows you just how many. We've got omega there. I'm not sure what these symbols here, I can't remember now. But we've got symbols because there are so many. It's no good going A through Z or A through Z, because they've had to go into the Greek alphabet as well now. So you can see you've got that, and then we've got the they're calling it Palisades, hull draft marking. You know, on the first page, you're doing your hull. Nah. And then here we've got the arresting gear, which is all nicely done, all with brass, and that looks like a plastic part, to be honest, from the kit. So it looks like when they have a plastic part, they don't tell you. It's just, you just assume it is because there's no number on it. Okay. Now you can see the arrestor gear up, and that's the arrestor gear down. So you've got the option of having either. Elevator rails, bow, mid and stern. You can see there they are folded flat, and there they are folded down. So that's what you do to make them look raised. Let's go over the page. Here we've got, just like we had on the KA set, we've got a massive set of instructions about doing the deck. So what they're basically telling you here, at least with here, there's words. So peel off the deck from the transfer and film. Use water spraying on both adhesive sides of wooden deck and kit for easy locating. I will use watered down white glue. Remove the light blue area after locating and applying the deck. So basically what you're doing, you're putting the whole deck down, and then you're going to weed all these light bits out. So you're going to pull all that wood out, and then you're going to replace all that with photo etch, and then you're going to add the masking sheets and spray, and then dry transfers. You've got all numbers to go on here. There's numbers all the way down the deck, and those numbers actually tell the pilot how much further he's got to go. Okay, so I'm hoping they are numbers. It looks like they're just blocks. I'm not sure where the dry transfers are, but there should be numbers down the deck, and you can see them in books. So there we go, and then down the back here we're onto the bow of the deck. So you've got these parts here going on with the railing over the edge, and then here we've got the fantail. That's all looking good, and a multitude of guns on there as well. So that's all good. Right, so here we are now onto page 3, and we're building up the 5-inch single guns. So there's going to be 8 of those. So down here it will tell you, down at the bottom, times 8. And then here we've got the Mark 33 gun directors with their radar on them. So you've got 2 of them, and you're adding the radar. I'm just wondering whether they're showing you 4 there. That's a bit confusing. There's actually only 2 of them, there's not 4. So I don't know why they've done that, but that's just showing you how they look from all the different angles, I guess. So there we are. So you're going to make 2 of them. That's going to be a whole little model all on its own. And then here we've got the 40mm bofors, so you can see we've got separate turn brass barrels. We've got a resin breech, and then we've got a resin base. You're not going to use any of the kit parts here at all. Looking at Kenneth's build, I don't think he's used hardly any of the kit at all. It's just, there's nothing left. We've got a quad gun here we're going to build up. Sorry, I've moved on. We've got the 40mm bofors, building up these frames here with photo etch and everything, and adding all that in there. And then we've got our Mark 51 gun directors. There's 5 of those. There's 4 of these 40mm quad bofors, and then we've got one 1.1 inch quad gun. And you can see the massive difference in that and the kit part. Absolutely stunning. We've got our 20mm Oerlikons here, and you've got to make 50 of them. So my suggestion, if you're going to build one of these, do say 2 of them before you do something else, and then do the next day do 2 of them before you do something else. Don't challenge yourself with making 50 of these all at once. That'll drive you bloody crazy, and you'll get bored. And also, as I say, do some guns before all the interesting stuff. Don't leave all the guns till the end, because then, you know, you can imagine you want to get it finished, you want to move on to the next project, and there you are with 50 of those to make. 36-inch searchlights, there's 2 of those. They look beautifully detailed, photo etch inside and everything. So yeah, these really are a step above these sets. Okay, so we've got the island conning tower decks, you've got to remove part of the plastic island here. You've got to shave that off there. So that's how it's going to look. And then what you do is you run like this with these instructions. You run vertically. And then you're going to add some photo etch into there. Some brackets going in there. And then you're going to fold it all up. You need to somehow fit some windows. Not quite sure how you would make the acetate stick. But you fit some windows in there. Perhaps put some spare bits of binoculars or something in there. I don't know. So it's not empty. Perhaps a couple of people. I don't know, a couple of people from the KA set. And that's that all folded up. And then you're going to build this up here, which is like, it looks like the base. Is it the base or is it the roof? It looks like it might be, it's actually the roof. And you've got a searchlight, or not a searchlight, or a gun director mount or something going there. It might even be a gun mount going there. And we're going to build up the frames there for the walls. Sorry, I'm off screen. Frames there for the walls. And then that's how it's going to look when it's all assembled. And then you're coming on here and you're building up more boxes now. So this is all structure with a catwalk bit there and everything. And then more structures here, all folding up, got the perforated flooring. And then you're going to add all these details to the side. And then here we go, we're starting to mount it all on the island. Get all the structure underneath to support it. You can imagine this is going to look absolutely stunning. And then you've got these are the bases for the gun mounts. And then you're going to fold all this up to make into that box there. And then this is the one with the lookout with the glass roof as well. And then you've got all these railings going around. This looks far higher detailed than the KA one there. And then going over the page, we are building up more of the starboard island now. Adding all these railings on, coming down, building up more of the island port side. Another box going here together, building up this box here. You're going to have people in there. And then you've got more gun mounts, and then you're coming down here, you've got all the splinter shields going around the gun mounts, and then all this box coming together here, and then we're going to add all this onto the starboard and port side of the island. So this is all going on the port side. There's that box there you remember from the KA set. And then here's how that's all going to look. We've got a railing going in there, and what Pontos do, which is really nice, to give you lots of pictures of this is how it looks. You've got all the different angles. This is, so you can't go wrong. If you find this confusing, go and look over here and you'll see where it goes and you'll be, all right, okay, I get it now. And then we're going to build this up here. So we've got this, whatever this is like some sort of box section going on the side. And then we've got some plastic parts going on there. Yeah, kit T35. So we're using kit parts there, so they must be half decent, or Pontos wouldn't tell you to use them. And then again, that's all gone together. So that's your island done. You thought. Here's a big platform here going on the back of the island. You've got the plastic part there with all the detail going in for the funnels. So again, that is a lot nicer than that piece of 3D printed resin in the KA set. And you're going to add that platform on there with the extension on the side. I think that's where the radar mounts, the SC2 radar is it. And then we've got these grills going over the top, so lots and lots of detail around the funnels. And it's nice to see we've got these plates inside. So that's how that's going to look when it's all done, all beautifully stood there. And then we've got some railings going around the outside edge, and more bits and pieces going around the edge. You can see it just goes on and on and on. And the detail on here is just absolutely astounding. You've got the support there for that radar bit that's sticking out. And then we've got a load of doors going on. Got some fabrications going on the side here, obviously. Trumper got that bit wrong. There's another piece of fabrication going on there, and then we're going to build up this part here, which is eventually going to be the top of this area here. And then you can see it moves down. You're just adding more and more little stiffeners and strengtheners, and oh my god, get some VMS super glue, guys. You need 8 bottles. And then here we've got the levels of the floors going up this support here. So you're building all them up, folding them up with the integral railings. You've got folding over with the supports in the bottom. So rather than having all these separate parts, they've made one piece. You fold that over, you fold the railings up, you fold that bit down, and you've got your complete floor there. And you can see that there. You can imagine how that's going to look in 200 scale. It's all about that big. It's going to look absolutely stunning. And here we've got more gun mounts. Oh, no, sorry, that's searchlight mounts. So there's one of your searchlights going on there. All very nice. And then going over the page, we're going to build up our SC radar. That's the one that's going to go on the side of the funnel there, as you can see. And then we're going into the main mast. Building the main mast up with all the brass parts. Again, they're showing you how it looks when it's done, which is great. You've also got a diagram there to show you all your different angles and everything. So we've got the fire control platform and tripod mast. Okay, so you've got kit parts and a brass part. Now I know that if you remember we looked at the KA kit, they used all 3 plastic parts. Here you're getting 1 brass part, so obviously they feel there's something wrong with that plastic part. And then that's all going to go together. You've got that tripod sort of leg system, and then you've got this box here with the windows to look out. You need more clear acetate for that. Adding the roof to it and everything, and then you can see here we've got it upside down the bottom. We've got it upside down, we've got the bell there, and we're going to add these little buttresses down underneath in there. So all very, very complicated and about 9 years work. So there's that upper platform there. Now we've got a mast going on. You've got the outriggers. Remember we did this in the KA kit and it was only about 2 steps. You can see that is like nearly a whole page to do that on this one. So you can see how much more in depth this one is. So that's all that there. And you can see up here we've got loudspeakers going in. John, your dinner's ready. That's all going together there. All photo etched brass, not using any of the plastic parts. And then here we've got the CXAM radar. CSAM I think they call it. That's all going together. You've got the base here. All going together beautifully. They're telling you to note that line is higher up than lower down. And then here we've got the actual radar itself, standing on top of that pillar there. And then we've got the foremast. Again, all brass, no kit parts at all. And a lovely diagram of how it all goes together down there. Beautifully done. And then going over the page, here's our island now. So you can completely build your island. This is what Kenneth is actually doing right now. This is what he's working on. He's probably working on it right now as I'm sat here doing this. So we've got searchlights there on the sides of the island. We've got our radars here. There's Mark 33 gun directors, I think. I thought they were Mark 33 gun directors up here. Maybe that's what they're called, an FD radar. But you can see all the different pieces all labelled to show you where they all go. And you've got here all the doors which you can have open or closed. I'm not sure if they've got the detail on the back of the door like the KA set does. If they haven't, just use the KA ones. And you've also got here something missing from here. The KA set has all the surrounds for the portholes. So you can drill all them out, fit the brass parts. They look a lot nicer than the moulded plastic. I don't know why Pontos have stopped doing that. With the Bismarck, they gave you all the portholes for the hull and everything, and they've sort of stopped doing it now. Maybe they feel it's not necessary. So there's a 30-foot derrick boom there. Is that the one I was asking about? I wonder, because there's one on the side of the hull I've seen in pictures of Enterprise. Maybe that's what it is. So there we go. So doesn't that look absolutely gorgeous? I think you've used like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plastic parts, and the rest is all brass. Still, right, this is the bit I love. This is the bit I love. This is the bit I really want to do on a Kaggy. So we've got the bow flight deck. So this is the area underneath. Again, go and watch Kenneth's build. I'm going to watch it 10 times before I even look at doing this, if I ever get around to building this. Because there's a lot of hits and tips, with things that he found while he was doing it. Like certain build sequences, like he did. There's little pieces that go in here. Where are they? There we go. All those he did before he did that, because it makes it a lot easier to put them in. I would solder all this and then glue all those little bits in. I'd have all this soldered, so it's just solder the ends just so it's nice and strong. But as you can see, it's a beautiful structure. You've got all these bits and pieces going in there. The kit basically has a big moulded slab of plastic that goes in, and it just won't look right at all. And here you've got all the more bits and pieces going in, all these frames to fold up, all going in, and then you've got this railing that goes across the front. And then you've got here, these are the catwalks going down the sides, and I think there's a gun mount at the end of them. Yeah, there you go. You've got a gun mount at the end, at the front. Catwalk underneath there. Catwalk all the way along there. And then here we're building up this great big box. I think, is that, no, I thought that was part of the stern. No, that's going in the bow. So you've got these big boxes on the side here. So very, very nice indeed. In fact, I watched him doing this last night. And then we've got the bow flight deck under part, they're calling it. So this is all the bits and pieces that are going under, and you can see this is getting very, very complicated. We're building up some reels. We've got our chain covers. We're going to remove all this plastic from the deck and replace it all with brass. And then we've got all these turn brass parts. We've got photo etch parts. We're actually using that gun tub. Look, that's amazing. I would thin the walls out of that if I were you, because it's going to look really thick compared to the rest of the brass ones. And then we've got our paravane booms. It's funny, they've got paravane booms in here, but I remember Kenneth saying that he spoke to Kim, and Kim saw no use for paravanes on this ship, or there was no positions for them to be. But we've got them in the KA set, so don't worry about that. So we've got paravane booms, and then we've got anchor chain stoppers going in. We've got the anchor chain itself, railings going around the sides, and all that there, which is absolutely amazing. Are you bored yet? Yes! And all that beautiful detail under there, you can see it just looks amazing. So there we are. And now we're on the stern flight deck, so it's basically the same thing all over again. It's got this big panel in the middle. You've got all these catwalks going around. Coming all the way down here, we've got gun mounts everywhere. Apparently they fit beautifully. We've got all this going together here. And then we've got the top of the flight deck. I'm not sure. I think that purple there is telling you to remove it. I'll have to check. I think that's telling you to remove it. So that's all together there. It looks like you are removing the plastic, because there it is from the top and there it is from underneath. So all that thick plastic rubbish that KA will have you keep using, you remove it. Unless actually, sorry, that is actually brass parts that you're going to actually glue these onto. So you can see these brass frames extending from the sides, and these brass pieces here, that's what you're gluing them to. But no doubt that would normally be plastic parts that you'd use in the KA set. And then carrying on, we've got these supports here going together, as you can see, very, very complex, all fabricated, which is going to be lots and lots of fun. And then we've got the stern deck itself, and we're going to remove all that detail and then replace it all with brass. We've got this brass floor. This is like an intermediate deck above that one. That's all going together. You've got this house here. It's a house with like a mesh wall in it. It's a bit weird than what it is. You can see it all here folded up, all coming together. Get all those bits going down there. And then we've got 20mm guns on the top. We've got the Enterprise label across the back. And all that. We're on page 15, guys. There's only 9 more to go. So coming over here, we're going to keep using these plastic parts, which is a bit of a shame. So again, thin those walls out. And then we're adding all these bits and pieces in here. Now this is where it gets really busy. This is the, I'm going to rush through this because you won't take it in. You need to go, and if you're interested, go and have a look at the Pontos website. You will see all this amazing detail. Go and see Kenneth doing it. It's just out of this world. I've never seen anything like it. You can see all of this here is made of photo etched brass. And there's a complete section missing in the kit. So you can see here, this level, what I'm going to try and explain now, this level here, the bottom of this piece of brass, you can imagine this up here, the top piece is the plastic, and then you've got this L-shaped brass section gluing up to it, and what you can see here is the doorway which goes halfway onto the plastic. And what it is, the gun level is up here, but the floor level is lower down. So those doors are there for the man to come through, and then he has to climb some steps to get to the gun. So you will see, the best thing to do is go and see Ken's build and you'll see what I mean. But you can almost see it there, the guns are halfway up the door. So that piece is completely missing from the kit. You've got all these doors going in for the hangar deck. You know, miss some of them out, have them completely open, have them half open, whatever. Stick some planes in there, light it up, whatever. And then here we are, more and more fabrication going together, more gun control, more gun levels. You can see it's just absolutely covered in guns, this thing. All the way down, more and more of the same. Some ladders and platforms, more and more down here. Just immense. It just goes on and on and on. You can see here more now. Now we're down the port side. This is what I was saying. This port side, that piece there is like this long in the end. Absolutely incredible, unbelievable. Just fabrication is just incredible. Interesting to know, interesting to see when Kenneth did his, he had a bit of an issue here with the height. It was all a bit too tall to fit between the hangar deck and the flight deck, so take a bit of care in that area. And here you've got these templates to drill these holes with. And then going over the page here, coming down, more and more little catwalks and stuff. And then we've got these kit parts here, and you can see they're just, the kit part is basically a flat piece of plastic. Sorry, I'm off camera. The kit part is basically a flat piece of plastic with a door moulded on, so they're telling you to take the door off. Then you're going to make up this little platform, then you're going to build up this little vent. Add the platform, you've got the door open there, you've got the vent going in below, and then you've got a ladder going up the side. So one plastic part has all that work to improve its detail, and you can see it's just absolutely stunning. It's just incredible, the amount of work. And then here you can see they're showing you photographic and CAD of where everything is going and where it all fits. So very, very nice indeed. And you can see here, like I was telling you, in the KA set, they've got the de-gaussing cable coming far too low. Here you can see it covers the portholes. So, but those portholes were welded over anyway, I think. Anyway, lovely, isn't it? And I've got the starboard side, and it all goes on all over again. All this, building up all these photo etch structures, using hardly any of the plastic parts, building up the catwalks, building up the gun platforms. Just goes on and on and on. As I say, go and look at this on pontosmodel.com and you'll see what I mean. It's just incredible. They've done a set for the 1350th as well. I wonder if they've just downsized this. You can imagine all of this, the 1350 would just be mental. And guys, also I say, watch Kenneth's videos because you will learn a lot from that. You need to think carefully about how you're going about this, otherwise you end up with all these substructures that just won't go together. So you've got lots of stuff here to remove, lots of clean up. You're replacing that whole face with plastic, just like you're doing on pretty much everything. So yeah, we've already looked at that one, haven't we? And then here we are, more of this, all going down, more and more of the same, building up the sidewalls, building up the gun platforms. And then we've got these little extensions. These fit around the base of the crane, and they are where the de-gaussing cable goes up underneath, so it's worth looking at that. We've got all the pulleys for the cranes, building up the cranes there, get your solder out, get them soldered together, adding the cranes. You've got the port side and the starboard side, one on each side, and then you've got the 4-signal platform. So that's the 4-signal platform there with the catch net underneath. So I'm guessing that's where the man stands there with his lollipops and does his stuff. If he needs to signal the planes from the front. I don't know, I guess that's why the catch net's there, because I expect it's easy to lose your balance while you're waving your arms around. And here we've got the starboard side, again, pictorial and CAD image wise. So we're almost there, guys. Now over the page, onto the airplanes. Now bearing in mind these airplanes are like 200 scale. Yes, we have a full interior. We have a seat, we have a full cockpit interior, and we have an instrument panel. Yep, we've got canopy framing, we've got propellers in brass, and we've got the turn brass parts there. So that's all very nice, isn't it? So that's for your Wildcat. And then here we've got our SBDs. So again, we're going to cut the flaps off the SBDs, cut all the interior parts out. We've got an interior to build up. We've got both seats. We've got the gun ring there. We've got the bit that goes in the middle that they lift the aircraft on. All that detail down there is going in the cockpit. In 1/200 scale, yes. Mad. And then you're adding all that into the cockpit. And then you've got your propeller with your boss going on. And then you're going to build up the guns. Got your pair of machine guns going on the back. You've got your slinger for the dive bombing, and you've got your dive brakes there, which you can have open if you wish. And then here you've got canopy framing, and you can have it all folded back like this, or you can have it all closed up. So there you go. Look at that, in 200 scale. How crazy is that? And then here, again, we have our TBDs. So we have a TBD1. This is the Devastator, everybody's favourite at the moment. And here you have all the cockpit interior with all the 3 positions there. Propeller, spinner going in, or hub, whatever it is. And then we've got some detail going here in the undercarriage legs. We've got the arrestor hook going on the back. And then we've got the canopy, again, all closed up, or all open and fold and open up, as you can see here. And we can also have the wings folded if we want to. And we've got the wing folds there. So there we are. Mad, isn't it? And then this is the last sheet, so the last 2 pages. So we've got the jack staff there, which is going on the bow. We've got the ensign staff there, which is going on the stern. And then we've got here, we've got the bomb elevators, so they're going to be on the, is that on the outside? Oh, that's on the inside, that's on the actual deck. We've got the bomb elevators. So they used to get the bombs, get them out of the bottom of the ship, put the tails on, bring them up, and they didn't fit the fuse until they were up on the main deck. Here we've got the hangar catapult. There was actually a catapult in the hangar, so you could take the planes off from inside the hangar. I don't think it was used. They're telling you to remove this bit here, which is a bit of a contention, because if you look at the ship, certain periods of time it's got those extensions, other times it hasn't. So be very, very careful what you do there before you just go and hack them off. Accommodation ladder, so this is the ladder that's going to go up the side of the ship, and then you can have it stowed on the side of the deck, or you can have it extended. So that'd be like, so you could have the boats on the side. There we are. And then going over the page here, we have 5-inch gun decks. So we're fitting our 5-inch guns. We're using the plastic decks for them, so again we need to do some thinning down of those edges. We have lots of bits and pieces going on here. Again, this is showing us all where all the guns go, so we can fit all the guns last. And then here we're going to build up our, see, 1.1-inch gun deck. They've got the 1.1-inch gun there. And I don't think it had a 1.1-inch gun there when it had all the orlicons and stuff. We'll have to do a bit of research. I got a feeling you should have 2 orlicons in the front there. So this is actually the main crane now. This is the main boat crane, and that's sitting up there. I guess that's what they'd lift aircraft on with as well. And this is going to sit directly behind the main. See it there, sitting behind the actual main island. So it's building up that with the main turn centre and all these photo etch parts going on with all the platform and everything. Very, very nicely done indeed. And then here we've got all the boom and everything going on. We've got the hook on the end with the cables, and then we've got the there's a box here which is going on. I'm not sure what that is, where that is. There it is. That's going next to the crane, and you've got this this Mark 51 mount there. And we're actually using a kit part, look, bloody hell. And there we go, so that's going to sit there. And that, my friends, is that. Now, one thing I haven't seen, I'm going to look on the front of the box. Well, they're showing the wrong side, but it's on the, what I've seen is on the port side, and they don't have it either. If you look at some photographs, there is a boom fitted here that they used to put out. I'm not exactly sure what it's called. Maybe that's what we saw earlier on. But it doesn't seem to be in either of the sets, and it's certainly not in the kit. So there we are. So that's the instructions. And if you're still awake, we'll have a look at some photo etch. Okay, so as I say, I hope you're still awake. I'm struggling myself here. This has got to be the biggest review I've ever done. So here we have a box of photo etch, and weighty it is too. Very weighty it is too. So there's 32 sheets of photo etch in here. So we'll get the box out of the way, and we can get all these sheets out of the bag. I can also see on the top here we have the dry transfers. There's one bag refusing to come. There we go. So let's put all these over here. So here we have our dry transfers, and they are very, very nice indeed. I don't know if these are done by Cartograph, but I know the decals are made by Cartograph. They are very, very nice indeed, as you can see. They're basically a letter set. You put them down and just rub them in and rub them on. What's very strange about this? We've got all the deck numbers here, which is nice, as you can see. There we got all the numbers I said that go down the decks, which is really cool. So that's really good, and they were basically there so the pilots could see, whichever way they were landing, they could see that how many feet they had left until the end. So yeah, there you are. So you can see in white, if they're coming this way, they would see here, they would see 630, but if they're going that way, they've only got 170. So I'm not sure what it is. I guess it's feet. Yeah, whatever. But the thing that's very strange is they've got Wasp on here. Now Wasp was not a Yorktown class, so maybe somebody's going to bring out a 200 scale Wasp. I don't know. I'm not sure if you could convert this to a Wasp. The Wasp was much smaller, I believe, but it was CV7, wasn't it? But it wasn't a Yorktown class. So CV5 was Yorktown, CV6 was Enterprise, CV8 was Hornet. So 7, if you're interested in CV8 Hornet, there you are. There's an absolutely massive model of it there. This one sits behind me. When you see me talking, you'll see it in the background, and that sits behind me on the paint rack and he's dusting off. You can see we got all the B25s on there, and there's one on the end just taking off. That's a great little kit for a bit of fun. It's the little Revell 1/1200th one. I think it's a snap together. Brilliant little thing. So anyway, enough about that. So we've got Hornet, Enterprise and Yorktown. So you can use this set on all of them, which is really nice. I'm glad they've done that. And if you want to get this set for another kit, you could just probably ask him if he can send you or sell you one of these sheets. So there you are. So that's our dry transfers done. In fact, we'll put those back in the bags so they don't get damaged. If we put everything back in bags, we know we're okay, don't we? But we'll put it face down and we'll keep everything in the right order. So is this going to go A, B, C, D, E or what? So this one, I'm looking for the fret number. Not that it really matters, but it looks like I've got them upside down for a start. So, no, I did have them right way up. Right, stop messing about, Nige. So this is our cockpit parts. So you can see here, I'll take this one out. You can see here we've got the dive brakes for our SPD3s. And then we've got all our cockpit canopies. Doing photo etch is really difficult, guys, because of the light issues. What if I take the light right off? Is that better? That is better, isn't it? So you can see we've got propellers there. We've got instrument panel. You can see where my finger is there. There's the instrument panel. Then we've got the gun mount. You can see cockpit interiors. Absolutely incredible. All that there for your aircraft. And that is sheet A. So I'm going to have to get in touch with Kim and say, can I buy another sheet A, please? And also the term brass parts for the propellers, because then you could get some additional aircraft and have them the same. Or you could just put these on the deck and have the simple basic ones in the hangar deck. You get those 3D printed canopy frames in the KA set, but I don't really like them. I think they're a bit too chunky. So here we have fret B, and we have some railings, and these here look as though they're all the these are all the longitudinal members that go in the bow and the stern deck. And then there's all these little bits and pieces here. We've got some more railings there. It's impossible to remember what all this is. That's going to be part of the island, I'm guessing. And you can see what they've done here, because there's a radius there. You can see what Kim has done is put a lot of vertical lines in there, so that will just roll around nice and easily. Beautifully done. So that one is fret, whatever that is. It's not omega, is it? It's epsilon. I should know these things, shouldn't I? I'm so old, I've forgotten it all. And then here we have sheet Z or Z, depending where you are in the world. And this is our degaussing cable. And as you can see, this is a lot more accurate. It's a shame it's so flat. It's not very round. It may need something, put some wire over it or something. I don't know, use it as a pattern. But it's not very round, but it's a lot nicer than the stuff in the KA set. As you can see, you've got the 4 cables there on the bow and the 4 cables on the stern, and it goes down to 2 in the middle. But the KA one is completely wrong for a 1942 Enterprise. It looks more like, if you look at the crash, the wreck pictures of Yorktown, it looks more like that one. So here we have doors and stuff. So here we have boxes and doors, and the doors indeed have an inner and an outer, so you can fold them over. As you can see there, you can fold the doors over and have them open, and you won't just have a flat brass panel on the inside. So that's very nice. But don't forget to cut the plastic part open. You don't want a door opening just to a wall, do you? Yeah, that's lovely. Very nice indeed. Not sure what this is. This is all part of the guns, I think. And then here we have fret Y. Why? Because it is. And you can see again lots more gun parts, more of the same. In fact, that is a, yeah, that's another fret Y. Now I hope I'm not missing another one, which you'll have to see. So this one here, this is fret X. So we've got some ends of cables there. Look, we've got these little buttresses there. They are the bits that go over your shoulders on the Oerlikons, I think. And then we've got some gun bases there, you can see all in photo etch. And that's that control tower mount. Not control tower, the control deck, whatever it's called. Damage control. And I think these rings here are for the lower end of the gun pillars. But all in all, you see it all there. It's beautifully made. It's all nice and flat. There's no damage or anything. It's all got here perfectly well, which is better than the ends of the stainless steel ones, isn't it? But, I've just rolled one of them out. It was doddle, absolute doddle. Ah, here we go. This is lovely. This is our radar. So we've got our CAXM radar there, and there's our SC2 radar there. Very, very nice indeed. It looks like these are the radars for the Mark 33s. Some steps and ladders there. Gun mounts or searchlight mounts, wherever they are. I love the way they've done this. They've got the frame underneath, and then you've got the grill on the top, so you just sort of fold it under, and it's all one rather than two separate parts. Just fold that under, drop a solder on the edge, job done, sorted. No, I do enjoy soldering my photo etch, and it gives you such a nice result, and you know it's not just going to all ping apart once it's painted. Right, so here we've got this is the deck that goes to the upper rear end of the island. This is our top of our funnels. There's the bits for the inside the funnels. Then we've got some catwalks with railings there. Looks like they're all made in one, which is nice. Oh no, that's the frame underneath the catwalk. Again, they've made it in one. Very well designed, very well done. And then here we've got the doors with the window openings there for something or other on the actual island itself. It will all become clear. If you want to see this, as I say, go and look at Kenneth's channel. He's nearly finished, I think. Here's another big one. So we've got some big panels here. So this is fret U. What was that one there? That was fret V. So U, V, X, Y, Z. So we're okay. Very nicely done indeed. Got some gun mounts there, it looks like. And then we've got the front of some sort of office, some sort of lookout area, bridge, whatever. So you're going to have a lot of your kit left over. In fact, if you've got your kit from Amazon, you could probably build this and then send it back and see you've got a couple of bits missing. You'll have so much left to send back is what I mean. So this one, be careful with this one, it's ready to just fold in half on its own because there's nothing left of it. So we've got, that's the main crane jib there. We've got some steps and some ladders there. Doors, lovely doors there for our hangar deck. And then some more gun mounts. You've got the grills here with the fold under bits. So very, very nice indeed. Very lovely. That one's T. So this one should be S, and it is. And you'll see there's the ammo mounts there that go inside the rings, the guns. Lots and lots of lovely, lovely photo etch. If you don't like photo etch, this ain't for you. If you do, fill your boots. This one's P. No, this is R, sorry. I was going to say it should be, I'm missing a Q and R. This is the R. So, got some railings there, some buttresses and support structures. You've got to kind of see this as like see it folded up and painted. Imagine how good it'll look with a really thin coat of paint on it. It'll just look absolutely stunning. Really, really nice. And then we have here, we have Q. We have more doors. More hanger doors there, more gun mounts. There's the bases for the gun mounts. We've got a big piece there that's going to go in the side of the, so you can see this is the sort of thing when you look at the side of the ship, rather than just a flat piece of grey plastic, you've got all this structure going on, then all the detail going on top of that. Something I have noticed is very interesting. Before I finish this video, I must just go and check the kit instructions. But there are no detail parts in here for the ship's boats. There are also no detail parts in the Yamato set for the ship's boats. Maybe that's why KA give you the resin boats. Maybe there's none in the kit. So this is P. That's that great big section of floor there, and there's the support to go under it. Okay, so that's going to look lovely. As I say, a few dabs of soldering iron, be stuck together like poo to a blanket. Very, very nice indeed. Got some railings there as well. Some more of those support pieces that are going in the bow structure. Or maybe they're going in here actually. But, yeah, beautiful. All just made to look very, very sort of industrial and strong, and at the same time be all slender and slim. Gun mounts, ammo racks, railings, catwalks. More of the same really. Very, very nice. See all the detail on there. Really, really lovely. So that was O. So the next one should be N, and it is. There's our little boat cranes going on the side. These are going on the stern, on the back end of the boat, but not right on the stern, but on the port and starboard side. And then we've got these little bits here, these photo etch pieces there. I'm not sure where we've got those. We've got those in resin as well. There's some more catwalks there, some great big steps. It's like about the 200 scale ships. The steps are sort of big enough that you can work with them. Some of the 350th stuff is just ridiculous. And then here we go. This is M. More doors, more railings, more steps, and then more detail for down the sides of the actual hangar deck itself. And there's some ducts there that are going to blow air everywhere. So yeah, very nice indeed. Nice to see they're also etched on. They've got a line on both sides, so they're going to fold really tightly. Some lovely tight sharp corners, which is what you want, because obviously this is all fabricated sheet metal at the end of the day. That one doesn't want to come out. Come on, it's okay, don't be scared. Right, there we go. There's L. So we've got some more catwalks here, and this is what I was talking about earlier. You can see here where you've got the door frame, and you've got the lower half is the door, and the upper half is just the frame, and that's where it sort of goes onto the plastic, and that's where the plastic isn't deep enough. So you're not only sort of adding detail to the ship, you're sort of correcting it as well with this set. There's a lot of little bits and pieces you're adding that are missing in the kit. And then we've got K. Again, more of the same. Gun mounts with the frames that go underneath. Catwalks, ladders. It's just more and more and more of the same, isn't it? Which I guess is what you're going to get with an aircraft carrier. Very much like a battleship, you've got all the structure to build up. It's all different, but this is just going to be catwalks, guns, doors, plates, vents, guns, catwalks, guns, and then some more vents. More doors, more side superstructure, as you can see with all this etched in detail. This is J. So yeah, double-sided as well. Look, you see we've got some etching there, which is always nice to see. I should imagine it costs quite a lot more to etch on both sides. And then here we've got a great big piece. Not exactly sure what that is, but you can see it's got those door frames on it again. We've got the half the door, so that's obviously going to be part of the side of the ship. And there's going to be gun mounts coming out from here, and then there'll be ladders coming up from there. More catwalks, more gun mounts, more ladders. It just goes on and on and on, doesn't it? I think now we're starting to get into something a bit more interesting, looking at what I've got in front of me. So here we have fret H, and this is This is our stern section. So we're going to cut all the plastic off and glue that down, and then we've got all the welded structure there and everything. And then we've got all the detail that's going to go up above it. This is part of that detail. These are parts of the supports that support the rear of the deck. Again, etched on both sides. Nice touch. So that's lovely. And then again here we got these are our bulkheads. So I'm not sure if that's the bow or the stern. I think that's the stern, isn't it? Because we've got this upper level here. And that's that box. I don't know what this room is. You've got this room with this grill. Just build up this big box, and then that goes in front of this. There's lots and lots of brass on there. There's not much of it been removed. You can see a reflection of my camera. Like, hello. In fact, you could probably see a reflection of me. Hello. But yeah, lovely, beautifully done. Really nice. I notice as well there's no boat racks. There's no racks for the boats. I wonder if KA and Pontos sort of worked together and said, tell you what lads, what we'll do is we'll force the people that are that way inclined, they'll have to buy both our sets. I wonder if that's what they do. Got some cable reel ends here which look absolutely beautiful, and then some more of that structure for underneath. This is going to be underneath the bow, I think, or it might be under the stern. You can see the detail on there, the relief etch detail. This one's not double-sided, it's single-sided. But those cable reel ends are lovely, aren't they? You can see all the detail, and they got the little doors here, the surrounds. Very, very nice. Having all the doors and that, and having a couple open and stuff, it gives you a real idea of the size of the thing. I'd love to have seen one in real life. In fact, something I must do before I die is go and see Yorktown in is it North Carolina or South Carolina? I can't remember now. That's CV10, not CV5, obviously. CV5 is just off Midway somewhere. So this is the plate that's going to go directly underneath the deck on the stern, and then you're going to fit all your ribs and pieces into there. So basically the last sort of 3 or 4 sheets, they're all going together to make up this, and then you've got all these supports here. Very nice. That's sheet E. That was F. Did we get a J? There's no letter on that one. H, J, yes we did. So that one with no letter is obviously G. So I'm just looking because we had 2 of that one. Was it Y? So I'm wondering if if they do it by weight, I may have one missing. This is D. Last one was E, so we're okay at the moment. And this is our forecastle. Beautiful done. You can almost cut your finger on that. It's so sharp. That checker plating. These are all the supports that are going to go up underneath. We'll look at that in a minute. This is the forward bulkhead. You've got the portholes in there. Bit of crystal clear in there. And these are the nets for that forward platform. That's the forward signal platform. So I'm guessing sometimes they must have landed the aircraft onto the bow first. I guess they must have done, because it's got numbers going down the deck, going up and down. So I guess whichever way the ship was sailing, if the ship was sailing away from the wind, I guess they had to. If the ship was sailing into the wind, they would land forwards, wouldn't they? If they were sailing away from the wind, they'd have to land from the front back. I've never seen a plane land on an aircraft carrier on the front, but maybe they did in those days. So here we've got some more folded sections that are going to go up underneath the bow flight deck. You can see it's all beautifully made. It's all like, this is just an engineer's dream, all this, because it's lovely, all these folded up steel structures. It's really, really nice. It's going to look stunning when it's built, if it's built. Mind you, watching Kenneth, I don't think I can help myself. I'm going to have to. I don't want it to be another Titanic. Catwalks here for the bow. And we've got more structure there going up, more little stiffeners going in there. And these are all the bits that Kenneth said to fit after you fit those little stiffeners in. So this is B. So that's very nice indeed. And there we go. And then finally we have sprue A. And this is a little bit bent, but not to worry because it's only brass. What we do is we take an X-Acto handle. It should flatten it out. Just put it back up a bit. But it's easier to do when you've got the actual part off itself, and then that little part will have no, it's the fret that's got the springiness, the part doesn't. So basically if we just push that down like that, it'll kind of straighten out. But it's when bits like this are bent, it's a problem. They don't ever want to go dead flat again, but little bits like that don't matter. But we have here fret A, and this is obviously the bit, this is going to go up under the bow, under the bow flight deck. And then we're going to add lots and lots of bits and pieces to it. As you saw, it's like a whole page and a half, wasn't it? And that's going to look incredible. So there we are. And there's the boxes that we fold up that sit down below, and that's going to go over there, that's going to go over there. And then there's these supports are going to sit over that area there. It's all just going to look really, really strong and structural and just amazing. The one thing I was wondering, when Enterprise was originally built, she was painted in grey. Then in 1942 they changed it to 11 or 21, whatever it is, the blue colour, so it's all blue with blue decks, and I don't like the look of that. I have read some notes that actually say to the guys that were painting these ships, don't worry about unexposed areas. So it even says, like, underneath the ship's boats, don't worry about painting that deck blue if it was grey, just paint around it. I'm kind of wondering if all this in here would have been grey. You know, would they have really gone to the trouble of getting up in there and painting all of that structure blue? Surely they just left it. It would have been painted, obviously, for rust protection, but surely they just left it grey. Surely. That's something I need to look into. Very interesting. So there we go. Now, if you're wondering where all the rest of the frets are, we saw them at the beginning when we looked at the first few, when we saw the stainless steel ones. So I'll go through and have a count and make sure I have actually got 32 frets. But what I am going to do, just before I end this video, I'm going to go and have a look at the kit instructions and answer the question for once and for all, does the kit come with ship's boats? Back in a second. Alright, so I had a look, and sure enough the kit does contain the boats. It does contain all the boats that KA give you in the kit. Other than in the KA set, they don't replace the little boat that sits in the fantail back there. They give you PE to go on it, but they don't actually replace that part. The other boats they replace with resin. Obviously they felt there was something wrong with them. And you can see the boats down in there in the sides. So the Pontos kit is not showing the boats fitted in here at all. The kit does actually give you the boats in plastic, and they do actually give you some photo etch parts to go on there. However, the KA kit gives you all those beautifully 3D printed rudders and propellers and all that and everything. They're going to look absolutely stunning. So it's almost like, as I say, it's almost like these two companies have got together and said, you know, we can both make the set and we can both make a living out of them, if you like. So in my personal opinion, if I was going to only buy one set, okay, I would buy this one. This one is far, far, far superior with the deck. The deck is a million times nicer than that deck. That deck is not very nice at all. You've got all the detail that goes down the side here, all of this detail in here, which you don't get in the KA set using all the plastic parts. You can see on here that most of the gun mounts are all replaced with brass. I say most, there's only a couple. Those two there, the one on the front. There's a couple of little nests here around the island that are still using the plastic parts. But the K set uses, you can see on here, there's a lot of grey plastic still left over. The tops of the funnel, I think in this is just, it's a waste of time replacing the plastic. This one is far, far, far superior. That set gives you nothing for the aircraft. This one does. You've got all the photo etch, so you can dress up all the airplanes that come in the kit. And then I'm sure if you contact Kim, he will sell you frets to like improve additional ones. Or KA Mark 1 Design, they make a set dedicated to updating those planes. They have the 3D printed canopy frames, which I think look a little bit too chunky. I don't know, maybe in real life they look okay, but in the pictures I've seen, they look a little chunky. And obviously you can get the extra kit, extra planes from Trumpeter. The gun bases and everything in the Mark 1 kit may be a bit nicer than these, because these are 3D printed, these are resin cast, and I don't know. I really don't know. We'd have to look at the two side by side when they're built up but I know that veteran model stuff is absolutely top notch. So there we go. You don't get any figures in this one, you get hundreds of figures in that one. There's no pre-coloured photo etch in this one, there is in that one. You've got all those beautiful 3D printed parts in there which you don't get in this one, and there's a lot of that is going to be made up with brass. So personally, if you want to build an Enterprise and you want to do it really nice and you're only ever going to build one in your life, probably get both. If you are into Enterprise and Yorktown and Hornet or whatever, you could probably buy both these sets, pick your favourite, say your favourite is Enterprise, build Enterprise from your favourite bits, and then the bits you got left over, build Yorktown. Perhaps build it as a wreck scene, or I don't know. But certainly that deck isn't very nice. I wouldn't, that's £100 to buy, that's £100, sorry, to people not in this country. It's not worth that. It's not very nice at all. You can see it's really clunky, whereas this one in here is absolutely beautiful. So, as I say, I mean, if you've got a Yorktown and an Enterprise, use the best parts for Enterprise, use what's left over for Yorktown. You'll have to get some extra guns because Yorktown had 50 cals. Both of these sets have 20 Minoricons. Be careful of the guns, where you're putting them, how many you're putting on, because, as I say, with Enterprise, she changed by the bloody month. It was ridiculous. It's crazy how much it changed, so look out for that. They also changed the degaussing cable. In the early war there was no degaussing cable, and then they had this degaussing cable, and then it went back to a later type which looks more, I think, like the one in the KA design set. So, you know, you pay your money, you take your choice. But anyway, as I say, if you want to see all this in use, go and have a look at Kenneth's site. There'll be a link down below in the video description. Go and give him a subscribe. He's doing some lovely work, and somebody's actually said they'd love to see me do a live stream with Kenneth. I'm up for that if Kenneth is, so if we can sort that, I don't know how we can sort it, but anyway, whatever. So thank you for watching, guys. I think this has been the longest, most boring review I've ever done. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to put some sellotape over that, or that's going to get caught on something. So yeah, really chuffed. A lot of money's worth here, but I think worth every penny. I want to say a massive thank you to Kim. He did me a fantastic deal on this. I have paid for it. I didn't get it for nothing, but he did give me some money off because I said I was going to do a review, and he knows I've been a customer of his for a long time. Remember, I bought all those hood things and made all the resin funnels and that. So as I say, I'm going to go through this now with a fine-tooth comb, see what's missing. I know at least one part's missing, and then get in touch with him, buy some more frets for the airplanes, and go forward from there. So thank you for watching, and I will see you all soon with another review or something. We're also doing, at the moment, we're building the Sea King from Airfix, and it's a beautiful kit. So a lot cheaper than these as well. See you all soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye for now.